What is your biggest dream? For many years, mine has been to sail the Caribbean. In a previous video, I explained how I learned to sail and bought the boat. And now, the time had come. As a newbie sailor with very limited experience, in a small beat-up boat built in the 60s, this adventure would be extremely dangerous. In this video, I share the highs and the lows, and reveal my biggest challenges getting started. I was diving in the deep end, in way over my head. This wasn't gonna be easy. This is the Caribbean. The Greater Antilles host the larger islands, the countries of which I've already explored. Now, all that remained were those of the Lesser Antilles, home to the Leeward and Windward Islands. With 8 nations and 9 territories jam-packed together, and no island more than a day's sail away, there is no better region better suited to exploration by sea. I bought my boat here, in Grenada, and I'd already visited the awkwardly placed nations of Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago on previous trips to make my route simpler. Now I was pulled in only one direction, north. Over the next few months, the plan was to island hop from Grenada all the way to St. Martin in the north, then finally loop back down and get as far south as I could before hurricane season. All I had to do was get started. My last day in the office finally came. I was free. So it's the night before I fly off to sail the Caribbean. It's time to pack. All packed. So now I'm gonna hop in the taxi, head to the airport, and hopefully in a few hours I'll be on my boat. The adventure begins. Heading to the boat now. Alright. So, home, sweet home for the next few months. This is gonna be cozy. So I thought I'd take a break from being a pirate for a day and just sit on land. Beautiful land. I miss the land. It's a nice break from just constant wind and ocean and I had originally actually recorded all this footage of me on the boat my first 2 days, but unfortunately, like an idiot, Passmark forgot to turn on the microphone, so you're hearing it now. So I arrived at my boat, a 1969 32-footer Nicholson named Tradewinds. So the first thing I thought to do was clean up and get things organized. As I was going through the boat, I realized I didn't know half of what anything was. So the guy who had the boat before me had sailed it across the Atlantic, so it basically had a hardware store in it. There were so many things in the boat, I had no idea what they were. I felt completely out of my depth. I was starting to rain. It's supposed to be dry season, it's always raining here. The gas didn't work, the water didn't work, the fridge didn't work, the GPS didn't work, most of the lights didn't work. Oh, then of course there was a hole in the dinghy, and the motor didn't work. Then one time, because I didn't have one of the valves open fully on the toilet, it basically exploded a load of feces in my face. That was nice. It was a disaster. Okay, the rain's clear. I'm gonna sit back down now. Let's give her a little wipe there. She's good. She's good. Then another major problem I had was there was algae in the old diesel tank. Then I dived down and had a look at the bottom. See how dirty this thing is? It was like a jungle down there. There was like crabs living there, there was snails, there was sea lice, there was little shrimps, and those barnacles, they were like, it took so much force to get them off. It was a whole ecosystem. So basically I was stuck there. It was just like, oh, I don't think I've ever felt so overwhelmed. And I had this huge trip planned and I didn't even know if I could get it out of Hog Island. So all these problems seemed absolutely insurmountable. So that was my first major hurdle to get over, was just get the boat moving, just get it out of there, even just one stop. But at the same time, even though I had all these difficulties, there was some really, really nice moments as well. I remember just the first night I was looking up at the stars and trying to figure out where Polaris was and the different constellations. The stars are just incredibly clear out here, it's amazing. And also where the mooring for the boat is, it's a place called Hog Island. And on this uninhabited island is this tiny little beach bar called Rogers Beach Bar. You can just take your dinghy and go there. It's like a real kind of ramshackle vibe. A load of rastas hanging out, a load of sailors just smoking, drinking. It's real chill. They do barbecue. It was one of the coolest places I think I've ever hung out. And that was just at my doorstep. Morning. So anyway, after a few days of solitude, the time came to welcome my very first guests / crew members, which were my mom and dad. So they would join me for the first month of the trip. Woo! I got them to take a week-long sailing course, a competent crew course before they arrived, so they had a bit of an understanding about how boats work and they could give me a hand.
Hello guys! Hey! Hey Dad.
So I get on the dinghy, I pick up my mom first because there's a lot of bags.
Is it that little dinghy there?
Yeah, it's the smallest one.
And you want to see her reaction when she got on the boat. I don't think she was expecting it to be so cramped and old.
So first impressions, Mom's a bit small, eh?
Her face when she saw the bathroom was absolute classic.
There's no door.
There is, this slides across, look. You see?
Oh.
Slides across, and you got one here. Living the dream.
So I've had a lot of adventures with my parents. We took the Trans-Siberian Railway with them from Moscow. We went through Mongolia. It was absolutely incredible. And then also they joined me to Gambia and Senegal in Africa. But this for sure would be their biggest adventure of their life, hands down. I mean, sailing across the Caribbean on your own boat, you can't get more adventurous than that.
First guest of the trip. Cheers, guys.
You never water for Crystal?
Cheers.
After a much needed morale boost, things started to get back on track. Just here at the custom office, sorting out all the stuff for my boat, getting everything transferred over to my name and paying up my cruising permits. Exciting stuff. So after a bit of tinkering around, I managed to get everything working. We spent about a week trying to just get the boat ready. My dad really helped me out, so did my mom. They were just great. Eventually got the gas working, eventually got the water working. Got a guy out to fix the fridge. Then we went looking for a manual bilge pump. Pumping that old diesel from the tank was a nightmare. Just trying to get the hose down took us 50 tries.
Super fun, isn't it, Dad?
Super duper fun. Anyway, we're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there. Thought we got everything working. We turned on the engine. I get my dad to loosen the mooring. I'm revving up the engine and I said, "Do you feel any force?" And he's like, "No." And we started to drift back towards land. We would have been shipwrecked if we just kept the drift. Then I dived down and I realized the propeller's not moving.
This cable was the cause of all our problems. So this moves
A little lever down there, which puts the engine into gear.
it's constantly in neutral.
So yeah, there was a lot of challenges. Eventually anyway, we got it working. So then we just took it for a little tour around the bay and moored back. And that was our first kind of tester. We were finally ready to get moving. In the next episode, things intensify as we hit the Atlantic. Please like this video and subscribe for more.